environment and health. So introduction, the term environment. What is the environment? The term environment implies all the external factors that may be living or non-living, material and non-material, which surrounds man. So what is environment? Environment, it implies all external factors which may be living, non-living, material and non-material, all things which surrounds man. In, in the modern concept, environment includes not only water, air and soil that forms our environment, but also social and economic conditions under which we live. So, the new modern concept, what it says, the environment includes not only water, air and soil, but also social and economic conditions are also included in environment. So for descriptive purpose, environment has been divided into three components. First is physical environment. In physical environment, it includes water, air, soil, housing, wastes, and radiations. So what physical environment includes? Water, air, soil, housing, waste products, radiations, etc. Second is biological environment. What is biological environment? It includes plant and animal life, including bacteria, viruses, insects, rodents, and animals. Biological environment includes plants, animal life, including bacteria, viruses, insects, rodents, and animals. And last is social environment. What social environment includes? Customs, cultures, habits, income, occupation, religion. So, for descriptive purpose, environment is divided into three categories: physical environment, biological environment, and social environment. So, today we'll start with water, the first component of physical environment, water. Much of the ill health which affects humanity, especially in developing countries, can be traced to lack of safe and wholesome water supply. So many of the diseases or number of ill health is caused due to lack of safe and wholesome water supply. It may be some waterborne diseases, water pollution. So water that is easily accessible, adequate in quantity, free from contamination, and safe and readily available throughout the year. So water is not only vital environmental factor to all forms of life, but it has also a great role to play in socio-economic development of human population. So it is not only for drinking or our domestic use, it is also important for socio-economic development of population. So what is the meaning of safe and wholesome water? 2 marks का तुम्हाला क्वेश्चन है तो safe and wholesome water. 2 marks question. So water intended for human consumption should be both safe and wholesome. This has been defined as water that is free from pathogenic agents, that is bacteria and viruses, free from harmful chemical substances. It should be pleasant to the taste, that is free from color and odor, and useful for domestic purposes. So what is safe and wholesome water? It is defined as the water should be free from pathogenic agents, it should be free from harmful chemical substances, it should be pleasant to taste, that is it should be free from color and odor, and it should be usable for domestic purposes. If all these criteria are fulfilled, that water is called as safe and wholesome water. So water is said to be polluted or contaminated when it does not fulfill the above criteria. So for safe and wholesome water, it should fulfill these all four criteria. Then water requirement. The basic physiological requirement for drinking water is estimated about 2 liters per head per day. It is only drinking water. The physiological requirement for drinking water is 2 liters per head per day for survival. 2 liters is needed for survival. But from the standpoint of public health and improvement of the quality of life, water should be provided in adequate volume. It will help to reduce incidence of many water-related diseases among the people which are at risk. The consumption of water, however, depends upon climate conditions. That is, in summer season, we require more water. In winter season, we need less water. Also, it depends upon standard of living and habits of the people. A daily supply of 150 to 200 liters per capita is considered as an adequate supply to meet the needs for urban domestic purposes. Means only for domestic purpose we require 150 to 200 liters per capita. Means for one capital region. And in India, 40 liters of water supply per capita per day was set target to be achieved in rural areas. So today also in rural areas there is a very less amount of water. So our target is there should be 40 liters of water supply per day in rural areas. And what are uses of water? Only a small fraction of total water supply is actually used for drinking. The use of water include domestic use. On domestic front, water is required for drinking, cooking, washing and bathing, flushing of toilets and gardening. So it is used mainly for domestic purpose. Then for public purpose, it is used for cleaning streets, recreational purposes like swimming pools, public fountains, ornamental ponds, also used in fire protection and in public parks. Third use is for industrial purpose. It is used for processing and cooling of many industrial work. Then also used in agricultural for irrigation. Also water is used for power production from hydropower and steam power. Also it is used for carrying away waste from all manner of establishments and institutions. Water is therefore an essential factor in the economic, social and cultural development of community. It can eliminate diseases, it can promote the rural development, it can improve the quality of life. So what are the uses of water? It is used for domestic purpose, for drinking, cooking, washing, bathing. It is used for public purposes like for cleaning streets, recreational purpose like swimming pools, public fountains, also used for fire protection, used in public parks, also used for industrial purposes, agricultural work, also used in power production, main electricity production. It is used for power production from hydropower and steam power. Also used for carrying away waste from all manner of establishment and institutions. So it is very important and essential factor for economic, social and cultural development of community. It can eliminate diseases, it can promote rural development, and can improve the quality of life. Then what are the sources of water supply? Water may be abstracted for the use from any number of points in its movement through the hydrological cycle. Means in water cycle we can extract water from any point in water cycle. But the selection of source requires professional advice. In general, water sources must conform two criteria. First criteria, the quantity must be sufficient to meet present and future requirement. And second criteria, the quality of water must be acceptable. So, what are the two main criteria for sources of water? The quantity must be sufficient to meet present and future requirement. And second is quality of water must be acceptable. So, there are three main sources of water. First is rain, second surface water, and third is groundwater. The surface water includes impounding reservoirs, rivers, streams, tanks, ponds, and lakes. And groundwater includes shallow wells, deep wells, and springs. So these are three main sources of water: rainwater, surface water, and groundwater. So first we will see about rain. Rain is the prime source of all forms of water. A part of the rain water sinks into the ground to form a groundwater. The part of it evaporates back into the atmosphere, and some runs off to form streams and rivers, which flow ultimately into the sea. What is the parts of the rain which goes at different places? A part of rainwater, some part sinks into the ground to form groundwater, some part evaporates back into the atmosphere, and some runs off to form streams and rivers which flow ultimately into the sea. Some of the water in the soil is taken up by the plants and it is evaporated in turn by the leaves. So these events are known as water cycle. So in water cycle we can use any form of water which has two criteria which we have seen, that is quantity and quality of water. Then characteristic of rainwater. Rainwater is the purest water in the nature. Physically, it is clear, bright and sparkling. Chemically, it is very soft water containing only traces of dissolved solid, and it is also 0.0005%. So, it is very soft. Being a soft, it has a corrosive action on lead pipes. Bacteriologically, rainwater from a clean districts is free from pathogenic agents. The characteristic of rainwater, it is the purest water, it is physically clear, bright and sparkling. Chemically, it is very soft, and bacteriologically, in clean districts, it is free from pathogenic agents. And impurities of rainwater. Rainwater tends to become impure as it passes through the atmosphere. It picks up the suspended impurities from the atmosphere such as dust, soot, microorganisms and gases such as carbon dioxide, nitrogen, oxygen and ammonia. Also, gaseous sulfur and nitrogen oxides are emitted from the power plants that uses as a fossil fuels. These gases react with atmospheric water and forms dilute solution of sulfuric and nitric acid. You may be knowing of acid rains. These are due to same, the gases which reacts with atmospheric water and forms the sulfuric acid and nitric acids. The precipitation of these acids, that is acid rain, has begun to have serious impact on surface water quality and on also plants. So it mainly gets impaired with the atmospheric gases or dust or organisms. Then second source of water is surface water. The surface water mainly originates from rainwater. Example of surface water includes rivers, tanks, lakes, wadis that are water sources which are dry usually except in rainy seasons. Also man-made reservoirs and sea water. So what are surface waters? Rivers, tanks, lakes, wadis, man-made reservoirs and sea water. So surface water is prone to contamination from human as well as animal sources. As such, it is never safe for human consumption unless it is subjected to sanitary protection and purification before use. So it is not safe before purification. The vast majority of Indian cities and towns depends upon surface water sources, which are impounding reservoirs, rivers and streams, tanks, ponds and lakes. So main surface water sources are impounding reservoirs, rivers and streams, tanks, ponds and lakes. In general, surface water supplies possess a high probability of organic, bacterial and viral contamination. So first we will see about impounding reservoir. These are the artificial lakes which are constructed usually by earthwork or masonry in which large quantity of surface water is stored, like our dams. The dams built across the rivers and mountain streams also provide large reserves of surface water. The area draining into the reservoir is called as catchment area. It is also 2 marks question, catchment area, which was asked in last year exam, final exam. Catchment area. The catchment area which is draining into the reservoir of impound, mainly the area which is nearby impounding reservoirs and which drains into that reservoir, it is called as catchment area. One disadvantage of storing water for long periods in the reservoirs is the growth of algae, other microscopic organisms which impart bad taste and odors to the water. The characteristic of impounding reservoirs. The impounding reservoirs usually furnish a fairly good quality of water. The water is usually clear, palatable, means which we can drink, and ranks next to the rainwater in purity. If the surrounding hills are covered with peat, the water may acquire a brownish coloration. The water is usually soft and considered to be free of pathogenic organisms. So what are characteristics of impounding reservoir? They are fairly good quality of water. They usually clear, palatable and ranks next to the rainwater in purity. If the surrounding hills are covered with peat, the water is acquire brownish coloration, and this water is usually soft and free from pathogenic organisms and impurities. The upland surface water derives its impurities from catchment area. The area which drains in the reservoir, that is catchment area. The sources being human habitations and animal keeping or grazing. It is therefore very necessary to keep the catchment area free from human and animal intrusion. General belief that mountain strips are very pure water is often untrue. That is, many people are saying that mountain strips are very pure and clear for drinking, it is very untrue. Even if there is no human habitation or cattle near it, but there is still a possibility of contamination caused due to wild animals. Then second source of surface water is river. Many rivers furnishes a dependable supply of water. Cities such as Delhi, Kolkata, Allahabad rely on river water for their needs. The chief drawback of river water is that it is always grossly polluted and it is quite unfit for drinking without treatment. What is the drawback of river water? It is very polluted and it is unfit for drinking without purification. Characteristic of river water. River water is turbid during rainy season. It may be clear in other season. Clarity of water is no guarantee. That is, the river water is safe for drinking. River water contains dissolved and suspended impurities of all kinds. The bacterial count is very high in the river water. So it is not safe for drinking without purification. Impurities in river water. Rivers are described as a direct connection between elementary canal of people living upstreams and mouths of those people living below. The impurities of river water are derived from surface washing, sewage or sewage water, industrial and trade wastes, drainage from agricultural area. So it is having number of impurities. The customs and habits of the people like bathing, animal washing and disposal of dead all add to the pollution of water. So it is very polluted water. It is not safe for drinking. There is self-purification of river water. Certain amount of self-purification does occur in river by natural forces of purification such as dilution, sedimentation, aeration, oxidation, sunlight, plant and animal life, but these are not sufficient for water to be potable. River water needs purification before it can be used for drinking purpose. Third surface water source is tanks. Tanks are large excavations in which surface water is stored. Means it is more large than dams. So it is large excavation where surface water is stored. They are an important source of water supply in villages. Tanks are recipients of contamination of all sorts. They are full of silt and colloidal matter, especially immediately after the rains. Means surrounding whole soil or colloidal matter goes inside the tank after rains. So tanks are often used for washing clothes, cattle, human cooking pots. Children use it for swimming. There may be regular defecation around the edges which will be washed into the tank in the next rains. So it is very contaminated. So tanks are thus subjected to unlimited possibilities of contamination and are highly dangerous as a source of drinking water. But unfortunately, the tank water is drunk without being boiled, disinfected or having undergone treatment of any kind, which is responsible for incalculable number of cases of sickness and death, particularly of children. So in villages, this tank water is drink without any type of treatment or without any type of purification. It is drink or which is responsible for number of cases of sickness and death. So how to improve these tanks? A certain amount of natural purification does takes place in tank water because of it is stored due to oxidation or other agents, but it is not sufficient. So how to improve them? The sanitary quality of tank water may be improved by observing the following. The edges of tank should be elevated in order to prevent entry of surface washing. So edges should be elevated. Then ground. There should be fence around the tank to prevent access to the animals. Means we can apply any mesh or any compound like things which will prevent access of animals. No one should no one should be permitted to get into the tank directly, like for swimming. You may know, you have learned in pathology, that is guinea worm infestation. It is very common near the in the tank. There should be elevated platform from where people can draw the water. The weeds should be periodically removed. The tank should be cleaned at the end of dry season. So by this by this way we can improve the quality of tank. In spite of these precautions, from a practical point of view, it is not possible to prevent pollution of tanks, as people who consume the tank water are often among poorest country and do not have sanitary concepts. It is believed that simplest solution consists of subjecting the tank water to some sort of sand filtration. So we can apply the sand filtration, or also we can add the chlorine, which will increase the value of water. Then seawater, it is also a source of surface water. Though this source is plentiful, it has great limitations. It contains 3.5% of salts in the solution. Due to that, we cannot drink it. Offshore waters of the oceans and seas have a salt concentration of 30,000 to 36,000 mg per liter of dissolved solids, including 19,000 mg per liter of chloride, 10,600 mg per liter of sodium, and 1,270 mg per liter of magnesium. Due to this, we cannot drink the seawater. Desalting and demineralization processes involves heavy expenditure. It is very costly. So it is adopted in places where seawater is the only source available. Desalting and demineralization is very expenditure or very costly. We are not usually applying it. It is only adopted in places where only seawater is the source. There is no any other source available. So we'll revise again water. So first, environment has divided into three components, that is physical, biological, social, in which physical includes water, air, soil, housing, waste, radiations. Biologic environment includes plant and animal life, including bacteria, viruses, insects, rodents, and animals. Social environment include customs, culture, habits, income, occupation, religion, etc. So we'll start it with water. The water, it is the main source or main environmental factor which is mainly useful for drinking. Many types of diseases or ill health is due to lack of safe and wholesome water supply. So what is safe and wholesome water? The water which is free from pathogenic agents, which is free from harmful chemical substances, which is pleasant to taste, that is, it is free from color and odor, and which is useful for domestic purposes. That water is only called as safe and wholesome water. The water should fulfill these criteria for drinking. What is water requirement? For survival, we require 2 liters per head per day water. In urban areas, there is a daily supply of 150 to 200 liters per capita, and in rural areas, there is a very less amount of water. Our target is to supply 40 liters of water per capita per day. Uses of water: the water is used for domestic use, public purposes, industrial purposes, agricultural purpose. It is used for power production, and it is used for carrying away waste. So it is very essential factor for economic, social, and cultural development of community. It is useful for eliminating disease. It can promote rural development, and it is also for improving quality of life. And sources of water: the water sources must conform to criteria, that is the quantity, which must be sufficient to meet present and future requirements. Quality of water must be acceptable. There are three main sources of water: rain, surface water, and groundwater. Surface water includes impounding reservoirs, rivers and streams, tanks, ponds and lakes, and groundwater includes shallow wells, deep wells, and springs. In the rain, it is the prime source of water. In water cycle, at any point we collect the water. Characteristic of rainwater: rainwater is the purest water. It is physically clear, bright, and sparkling. It is very soft. It is bacteriologically free from pathogenic agents in the clean districts. Rainwater tends to become impure as it passes through atmosphere. It picks up suspended impurities like dust, microorganisms, gases. Some type of gases like gaseous sulfur and nitrogen oxide reacts with atmospheric water and forms dilute solution of sulfuric and nitric acid, which in forms leads to acid rains, which has very serious impact on surface water quality and on plants. And second source is surface water. Surface water originates from rainwater. Surface water includes rivers, tanks, lakes, and wadis, man-made reservoirs, and seawater. So surface water mainly includes impounding reservoirs, rivers and streams, tanks, ponds, and lakes. Impounding reservoirs: these are artificial lakes constructed usually by earthwork or masonry, in which large quantity of surface water is stored, like dams. The area which drains into the reservoir is called as catchment area. Characteristic of surface water: it is fairly good quality, it is clear, palatable, and it is pure. Impurities: it has many types of impurities, mainly due to human habitations and animal keeping. Rivers: the chief drawback of river water is it is grossly polluted and it is unfit for drinking without treatment. Characteristic: river water is turbid during rainy seasons. The clarity of water is have no guarantee, that is, it is safe for drinking. River water contains dissolved and suspended impurities of all kinds. The bacterial count is very high in river water. Impurities: it has many types of impurities, like from surface washing, sewage or sewage water, industrial water, trade waste, drainage from agriculture areas. It is may be polluted by bathing, animal washing, disposal of dead. There may be self-purification, but it is not sufficient to drink the water. Tanks. Tanks are large excavations in which surface water is stored. We can improve the tank by applying all these things. Then seawater. We will start with groundwater. What is groundwater? The rainwater percolating into the ground constitutes the groundwater. Means which absorbs into the rainwater, which absorbs into the ground, which percolates into the ground. It is called as groundwater. So water used by humans comes mainly from the land. It is the cheapest and most practical means of providing water to small communities. Groundwater is superior to the surface water because the ground itself provides effective filtering medium. For surface water, we have to filter it artificially. But in groundwater itself is a filtering medium. What are advantages of groundwater? It is free from pathogenic agents. It usually requires no treatment. The supply is likely to be certain even during dry season. It is less subject to contamination than surface water. But there are some disadvantages also. What are disadvantages? Groundwater is high in mineral content. Example, salts of calcium and magnesium, which renders the water hard. So it is high in mineral content. It requires pumping or some arrangements to lift the water. The usual groundwater sources are wells and springs. Wells have been classified into the shallow wells, deep wells, dug wells and tube wells. We'll go in detail. The wells, traditionally wells are important source of water supply. Even today, they are an important source of water supply in many communities, like in villages. Technically, wells are of two kinds, shallow wells and deep wells. The image is of well. Then what are shallow wells? Shallow wells are the tapped subsoil water. That is, the water from above the first impervious layer of the ground. So these are shallow. उथळ water म्हणतो आपण, उथळ पाणी. Shallow wells are the water above the first impervious layer in the ground. They yield limited quantities of water and the water is notoriously liable to pollution unless care is taken in well construction. Deep wells. A deep well is one which taps water from the water-bearing stratum below the first impervious layer in the ground. Shallow wells are above the impervious layer and the deep wells are below the impervious layer. Deep wells are usually machine dug or maybe several 100 meters deep. These deep wells furnishes the safest water and are often the most satisfactory sources of water supply. So you can see in image shallow well which is in the first impervious layer or above the impervious layer, and the deep wells are the below impervious layer. The 2 marks question asked, that is difference between shallow well and deep well, also asked for spotting examination. So differences definition. Shallow wells, these are the taps the water from above the impervious layer, and deep well are the taps the water from below the impervious layer. Chemical quality, in shallow well water is moderately hard and in deep well it is much harder. Bacteriological quality, shallow well often grossly contaminated and deep well it contains pure water. Shallow well dry in summer and deep well has constant supply in all seasons. So most of the wells in India are of shallow type. Speaking generally, shallow wells are liable to pollution from neighboring sources of contamination such as latrines, urinals, drains, cesspools, soakage pits, and collection of manure. So these are liable for contamination. Shallow wells are therefore a health hazard to the community if they are not made sanitary. A deep well can also become a health hazard if it is open, poorly constructed, and not protected against contamination. Also, there is a concept that is artesian wells. These are type of deep wells in which water rises above the level of groundwater because it is held under the pressure between two impervious strata. These are not common in India. In image, you can see the artesian wells. It is made between the two impervious layers of the ground, and these are due to deep pressures. These are not common in India. Saline intrusion. Near the sea area, there is a danger of infiltration of seawater into the deep wells. This gives brackish taste to the water and may make the water unfit for domestic use. Then wells are classified according to the method of construction. First classification is deep well and shallow well. These are according to their level. And another classification, it is dug well and tube well. It is classified according to their methods of construction. So dug wells are the far commonest type in India. In dug wells also there are two types, that is unlined Kacha well and the masonry or Pakka well. The Kacha well is a hole dug into the water bearing stratum, and the Pakka well is an open well built of bricks or stones. Means the first Kacha well, it is the hole dug into the water bearing stratum. Means where there is a water bearing stratum, there is the hole dug is made, and it is called as Kacha well. The Pakka well is an open well which is built by bricks and stones. You have seen many times the steps wells. That steps wells are kind of Pakka wells which are becoming obsolete, and fortunately. Steps are constructed into these wells to enable people to descend them into the well to fetch water and quench their thirst. The image showing the step well. The steps are made into the well. In this well, there is a considerable personal contact between the user and the water, so that the guinea worm disease is quite common in these steps wells. The open dug wells and steps wells are therefore health hazards. How to improve these dug wells? The unlined Kacha wells may be made sanitary by deepening the bottom. Also, they are made improved by installing a hand pump with the screen, filling the well with coarse sand up to the water level, and with the clay above that water level. When the material used for filling is completely consolidated, a platform and drainage may be constructed. There should be upper 10 feet watertight lining. One or more hand pumps may be installed for lifting the water, and also special attention should be paid to the foundation of pump to prevent any possible leakage of the wastewater into the well. So by this we can improve the quality or sanitary of deep wells, dug wells. So there is a concept of sanitary well. So which is the sanitary well? The sanitary well is one which is properly located, well constructed, and which is protected against contamination. with a view to yield a supply of safe water. This is 2 marks question. Which is the sanitary well? Sanitary well is one which is properly located, well constructed, and which is protected against contamination with a view to yield a supply of safe water. This is the model of sanitary well. It is also present in our department and kept for sorting. Image of sanitary well. So there should be this 9 points which are included in sanitary wells. That is location of well, lining of the well, parapet walls, platform, drain, covering of the well, hand pump, consumer responsibility and quality. So while construction, this point should be considered. So first is location. Where should be located? The first step in well construction is choosing a proper site. If bacterial contamination is to be avoided, the well should be located not less than 15 meters from likely source of contamination. So at least 15-meter distance should be there from the area of contamination and well. The well should be located at a higher elevation with respect to a possible source of contamination. The distance between the well and the houses of the users should be considered. If the well situated is far away, people may not use it. So it should be nearby the houses. It is therefore recommended that the well should be so located that no user will have to carry water for more than 100 meters. So location is very important. First point in location, it should be 15 meters away from the source of contamination. It should be at higher elevation from the source of contamination, and it should be nearby the houses. Second point in construction of sanitary wells, that is lining. The lining of the well should be built of bricks or stones which set in the cement to the depth of at least 6 meters, so that water enters from the bottom and not from the sides of the well. So the wall should be made of bricks or stones at least 6 meters deep, so that water enters from bottom and not from the sides or walls of the well. That lining should be carried 60 to 90 centimeters above the ground level. Then parapet wall. There should be a parapet wall up to the height of at least 70 to 75 centimeters above the ground. Means from the ground level, it should be above 70 to 75 centimeter height. Then platform. There should be a cement concrete platform around the well, which extending at least 1 meter in all direction. Platform should have gentle slope outwards towards a drain, which built along its edges. Then drain. There should be a paka drain to carry off spilled water to a public drain or soakage pit constructed beyond the cone of filtration. That is area of drainage of the well. Then coverings of the well. The top of the well should be closed by cement concrete cover, because the bulk of the pollution is introduced into the wall directly through the open top. So the top of the well should be closed by cement concrete cover. Why? Because the bulk of pollution is introduced into the well directly from the open top. Studies have shown that merely covering a well alone caused a marked improvement in the bacteriological quality of the water. So open wells therefore cannot be considered sanitary. However, wells they might be constructed otherwise. Means covering is very important point in construction of the wells. Then hand pump. The well should be equipped with a hand pump for lifting the water in a sanitary manner. Studies have shown that when a pump is fitted, there is a marked improvement in the bacteriological quality of the water because it is very less in contact with less in direct contact with persons. As it is, we can pump it with the hand pump. That hand pump should be of robust means strong construction to withstand rough handling by the people. Then consumer responsibility. The provision of sanitary wells does not guarantee freedom from waterborne diseases unless the consumers observe certain basic precautions at the individual and family level. So there should be strict cleanliness enforced in the vicinity of the well, that is personal ablution, washing of clothes and animals, dumping of refuse and waste should be prohibited. Ropes and buckets from individual homes should not be used for drawing the supply from the well. Water from the well should be carried in a clean sanitary vessels to the individual houses. All this requires health education. Then quality. The physical, chemical and bacteriological quality of water should conform to the acceptable standards of quality of safe and wholesome water. So for construction of sanitary wells, these 9 points should be proper, that is location, lining, parapet walls, platform, drain, covering of the wall, use of hand pumps, consumer responsibility for the safety of the water, and quality, that is physical, chemical properties of the water should be safe. So these 9 points should be considered for sanitary well. The next type of the wells is tube wells. Tube wells are successful as a source of drinking water in many parts of the India. They yield water which is bacteriologically safe and also cheap in comparison to other sources of supply. Shallow tube wells or driven wells have become the largest individual source of water supply in rural community. The tube well consists of pipe, usually galvanized iron, sunk into the water-bearing stratum and fitted with strainer at the bottom and a hand pump at the top. So you can see in image, it is called as tube well. A watertight concrete platform with a drain all around should be provided. The area within 15 meters of tube well should be kept free from pollution or contamination with liquid and solid waste. It varies from place to place depending upon the type of strainer, quality of underground water and nature of the soil. An average well may last for a period of 5 to 10 years. In some cases, tube wells have given satisfactory service even after 30 years. So you may have seen it in the farms. Tube well. Deep tube wells or bored wells are sunk by drilling through a successive substrate of gravel or rock until a suitable supply of groundwater is located. So bore wells are also type of tube wells. They may be several hundred feet deep and require complicated mechanical drilling equipment and skilled engineering directions. These types of wells, although costly to construct and to operate, are in many ways the ideal supply. The yield is normally very high and does not depend upon direct rainfall in the immediate vicinity. Means even there is no rain The bore wells or tube wells are still working. The next source of groundwater, it is springs. When groundwater comes to the surface and flows freely under natural pressure, it is called as spring. Springs may be of two types, shallow springs and deep springs. Shallow springs dry up quickly during summer months, whereas deep springs do not show seasonal fluctuation in the flow of water. Spring means dabdaba. You can see in image. In some geographic areas, springs constitute an important source of water. Springs are simpler to exploit as no pumping is needed to bring the water to the surface. Springs are exposed to contamination, so well-built protective structures are necessary to safeguard water quality. So here we have completed sources of water. So today we have seen groundwater. The groundwater, it is the rainwater which percolates in the ground. It is the main source of water for many communities. Groundwater is superior to the surface water because it provides effective filtering medium. There are some advantages of groundwater, that it is free from pathogenic agents. It usually requires no treatment. Supply is likely to certain even during dry season. It is less subjected to contamination than surface water. There are some disadvantages, that is, they are high in mineral content. For example, salts of calcium and magnesium, which makes the water hard. It requires pumping or some arrangements to lift the water. The usual sources of groundwater are wells and springs. Wells are of two types, that is shallow wells and deep wells. Shallow wells are the wells which are made above the first impervious layer in the ground. They yield the limited quantities of water. The water is notoriously liable to the pollution unless care is taken in well construction. Deep wells, these are made below the first impervious layer in the ground. These may be several hundred meters deep. This furnishes safest water, and these are most satisfactory source of water supply. You can see in image shallow well and deep well. Difference between shallow well. Definition: shallow well taps the water above the first impervious layer. Deep well taps the water from below the first impervious layer. Shallow well, it is chemically hard, and deep well is much harder. Bacteriologically shallow well, grossly contaminated, and deep well is pure water. Shallow well dry in summer, and deep well gives constant supply in all season. Then wells are also classified according to their constructions, that is dug wells and tube wells. Dug wells are also classified in two types, that is unlined Catcha wells and masonry or pucca wells. Catcha wells is a hole dug into the water bearing stratum, and the pucca well is open well which is built by bricks or stones. Steps wells are the type of pucca wells which are very common. You can see the image of step well. Then sanitary wells. The sanitary well is one which is properly located, well constructed, which is protected against contamination. with the view of yielding a safe water. This is the model of sanitary well. For construction of sanitary well, 9 points should be taken into consideration. That is its location, lining, parapet walls, platform of the well, drain, covering, hand pump, consumer responsibility and quality. So in location, the 3 points are main. That is, it should be located 15 meter from the contamination source. It should be at higher elevation from the source of contamination, and it should be nearby the houses, at least 100 meter near. Lining, the lining should be made by the built up bricks or stones at least 6 meter deep, and that the lining should be carried 6 to 90 centimeter above the ground level. Why lining should be there? Because water should not enter from the side of the wall. It should be entered from the bottom of the ground. Then there should be parapet walls of the height at least 70 to 75 centimeters from above the ground. Platform, there should be a cement concrete platform at least 1 meter in all direction, and it should be have gentle slope outwards towards the drain. There should be a pucker drain to carry up spilled water to the public drain or soakage. Covering, there should be a covering, and well should be closed by cement concrete cover which will avoid the pollution. Then hand pump, the well should be equipped with well hand pump for lifting the water in a sanitary manner. Then consumer responsibility, there should be a strict cleanliness. The personal ablution, washing of clothes and animals, dumping of refuse and waste should be prohibited. Ropes and buckets from individual homes should not be used for drawing the supply from the well, and water from the well should be carried in clean sanitary vessels to the individual houses. And quality, the physical, chemical and bacteriological quality of water should confirm the acceptable standards of quality of safe and wholesome water. Then we have seen about tube wells. These are also successful source of drinking water in many parts. There are also shallow tube wells and deep tube wells. Deep tube wells are boring water which we many areas which we have supplied by boring waters. These tube wells consist of pipe which sunk into the water bearing stratum and fitted with strainer at the bottom and hand pump at the top. You can see in the image. Here also there should be watertight concrete platform with the drain all around. The area within 15 meter of tube well should be kept free from pollutions. And these average wells will last from period of 5 to 10 years. And some wells have given satisfactory service up to 30 years. Then last source of groundwater is springs. When the groundwater comes to the surface and flows freely under natural pressure, it is called as springs. The springs may be of two types, shallow springs and deep springs. Shallow springs dry up quickly during summer months, whereas deep springs do not show seasonal fluctuation to the flow of water. You can see in the image, springs are simpler to exploit as no pumping is needed to bring the water to the surface, but these are exposed to contamination. So, well-built protective structures are necessary for safe water. Any doubt here? काही डाऊट आहे आतापर्यंत? काही डाऊट?
No, ma'am.